行くわよ
Happy EBO3 release weekend to all who participate and all who celebrate. To commemorate this, here we got a game with EBO4 Nami. But really, the highlight of this deck is all the EBO3 cards it gets in this set. It just makes the deck so much smoother and so much more powerful than what it was before. So here we go. We got Chun-Li Nami. One of my mains in Street Fighter, so that's why I've nicknamed Blue Yellow Nami into Chun-Li Nami. Really, there's no, similarities between how they play or anything, but you know what? I like both of them, so F you, that's why I'm doing it. Okay, so starting hand, I think some of the cards I look for are 5-cost Nami, Searcher, Girl Promo would be nice, but since I got 2 out of the 3, I decided to keep this. And starting off, I use the Searcher turn 1, because what else am I going to do? And I pick up the Robin, because I think the win con of this deck this day and age is sort of just slam down Robins back to back, stall the game out as much as you can, and then go for lethal with like 8k swings over and over again. Especially against a deck like Ace, where they don't really go wide, they just get a lot of card advantage, and they just kind of play out like one body a turn or so. I think you can end up overwhelming him because he can't really keep up with you healing. That's been my experience, but I mean, it's not a free matchup still, so. Okay, so on my turn, I decide to swing 8k at lead. He takes it, so I get to draw a card off of my leader ability, pass back to him. This Nami is now useless in my hand because he's down to 2 life, so I just pitch it for a leader ability. And then he plays out a Cavendish, which is kind of a threat with how much card advantage he can get off of it. Thankfully, we got Nojiko in hand, one of my favorite plays super early in the game, just to set him back, so we brick him up, but he's also Ace, so it doesn't matter. He uses that brick like it's a 2k counter, so here we are. I can't say anything, though. I do the same thing. Okay, so pass back to him. Not gonna lie, I was really thinking about puddinging him last, whatever. I was thinking of hitting him with pudding last turn, because he already had a lot of cards, but I think it's good that I saved it, because now he plays out a Garp and a Yamato. Man's got freaking Exodia in his hand already. Thankfully, my gamble paid off, and since I have nothing better to do, might as well send half of his hand to the Shadow Realm, right? So after we give him a fresh pair of eyes, he's taking a second, I get it, a little scared from what just happened. I don't know if he would take here. Okay, looks like he does. And then we get our leader ability off. We don't really have much of a board right now, but I'm not too worried about that at this point. Like I was saying earlier, he doesn't really tend to like flood the board too fast or anything, so he has 2 swings I really have to realistically worry about. And then kind of go from there. So I'm not like in too much of danger at this point. So starts with a Garp Search on this turn. Makes sense, probably trying to fix up his hand from that devastating pudding play from a turn ago. Then looks like he's taking a second to decide what's he gonna do. Is he gonna swing? Is he gonna play something big? Looks like he decides to poke 7 with the Yamato, probably trying to get my leader ability to go off and then get another card out of my hand. So I end up giving him 2 cards out of hand, the Nami just because pretty useless in this matchup now, but then I also give the Borsalino, mainly because I think it's the only one I'd seen so far up until this point in the game, so I'm just kind of banking on finding another one at some point. I counter out to stay at 3 life, honestly, just because I can. There really isn't a better reason for it than that, and then he plays out a Marco and passes. And here, I'm kind of between 2 different options. So one is I could either just A-cost Kid, get him down to 0 life, and then get Cycle and my leader ability off for sure. Or I could play out Robin and then Young Girl promo just to heal. And then, knowing me, I probably wouldn't swing into him. Mainly just because between the Marco blocker he put down last turn, and then also just leader ability in general, when he takes a life, I wouldn't really want to give him more cards because he's been searching and stuff, so I think he doesn't have the best hand he needs right now. I don't know, I don't play Ace, so I don't even know what he's supposed to be looking for. And in that time I gave to give that whole explanation, he's still trying to decide what he wants to throw, either to counter or, I mean, I guess just lose the game at this point. So I guess let's be real here for a second. How are you guys feeling out there? Checking on your emotions. It's the dark time of the year and everything, so usually depression tends to go up around this time. So just be careful. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Remember, you're important, even though it might not feel like it sometimes. You know what I mean? Okay, so he decides to give us a 2K, but through the leader ability, so I don't know if he did that to flex on us, or if, like, maybe he just has a million 2Ks in hand, but that's kind of a power move, honestly. That's pretty cool. I respect that, not gonna lie. And then off of the kid ability, I just decided to cycle out the exact card that I picked up because I already have one in hand, and then pass. And usually this is the part in the match where things start to get kind of tricky. Even though he's at 0 life, he still has access to a lot of really strong options because he has all 10 Dawn now. So he's got I Am Whitebeard or just 10 cost Whitebeard straight up. That makes it harder for me to end the game. So after some deliberation, surprise surprise, I Am Whitebeard comes out and he puts 2 Dawn on Yamato and Ace. And that's kind of rude of him, not gonna lie. What do you mean you get to be aggressive and defensive at the same time, considering that you also have leader ability too? Pretty rude, in my opinion, but, you know, here we are. Then it's like, am I any better? Look at that. I just get a free body on board to make going for game even easier on my end of things. But, you know, yellow hasn't been good for a long time. You know, we deserve this, so leave us alone, you know? Okay, so anyway, he decides to, well, he's deciding where to swing. Okay, it looks like he's going to swing 8K at my face. I decided to counter out of that. Something I didn't mention earlier is I try to save a lot of my 2Ks for my characters when I play Nami, because she could just do her leader ability and turn anything into a 2K, basically. So I try to save 2Ks either for late game or for characters, but they never really went into my board that much, so I got away with it here. Okay, so now that he's all bricked up with blockers on the field, that's not the right term, but I guess it kind of works, you know, like a brick house or something like that. He's got a shit brick house over there of blockers, and I don't have Roger in this deck for obvious reasons, so I'm trying to figure out what to do to get around this right now. It's pretty annoying, honestly. I think, though, because he mostly has blockers and, like, realistically one character he's going to swing with if he's going to try to play more defensively. Playing Robin here is not really a bad idea because I get to heal and then I have even more attack power next turn, so I have even more swings to kind of go with. So I think that's my play. Alright, so I start swinging with things. I did swing with the Kiku already. I go for a 6K with Nami. Honestly, probably could have gotten away with swinging a little bit higher, but I think I wanted to keep up for Slave Arrow, and maybe if I got another one out of life or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, just poke a 6K, and he's taking a while to decide what he wants to do, so I guess let's check in again. Remember what I was saying earlier about depression kind of being up? Yeah, check in on your friends. They might be going through it just as you are, and, you know, no one has to suffer in silence. Alright, anyway, enough mental health stuff. Blocked with Marco, and now he's back up to like a million cards in hand. Low-key, I don't even ask ace players anymore in person how many cards they have in hand, because I just kind of look over and they have like half their deck in their hands, so I'm just like, what's the point of even counting right now and stuff? Alright, so the kid spin cycles here again. I don't really need the searcher anymore because I think I'm just going to try to win on the next turn, or at least put the ace player in a really bad spot or something, so don't really need anything. Probably just going to swing like a million cards. They decided to red rock me. I probably deserve this for how many times I do this to ace players, so all good, all things considered. I wish I had it, but you know, it is what it is. They swing a 6 at me. I use my Nami to give my leader Nami leader ability. There's a lot of Namis in this deck. And then looks like they're taking a second to deliberate what to do next. Honestly, at this point, I don't blame them for taking time to think. Normally, I don't anyway, but especially here, it feels like we're both like just one wrong play away from like messing up the end of the game or something, you know? So he plays out Ezo Searcher just to kind of look for something. I'm guessing counter or maybe some kind of chump block he might run the deck. Then he swings 8 at me. I have 3 life, so I don't mind taking this, but at the same time, if he tries to go for game next turn, then I'm kind of in a pickle. So I decided 2k here. And then I think from there, he's really just deciding what he wants to do with maybe this last Dawn. Maybe he's got another Ezo Searcher or something, but he'd probably have to leave one up for like Rad Beam maybe. Or maybe he's just trying to mind game me. Maybe by just taking such a long time to pass the turn back to me, he's trying to make me think that he's got a ton of different options in hand, but maybe he's just super bricked up or something, you know, and he just doesn't want me to know that. Well, either way, it ends up working out for him because now I don't really know what to do in this scenario. Do I try to push for game or do I Red Rock him and stall out for another turn? I think I decide to Red Rock because generally just safer. I got 3 life if I Red Rock him. He realistically still only has 2 swings between leader and Yamato. So I decide to Red Rock his Whitebeard and then start swinging just kind of smaller numbers. I'm honestly just trying to be annoying, get cards out of his hand, but you know, not do anything crazy where I clear a blocker, although that wouldn't be a bad idea either. So he gives me a Whitebeard for leader ability. I think that's like either the 3rd or the 4th one in his deck, so I don't think I have to worry about it anymore. I swing 8 into 6, just asking for more cards out of hand. I don't think I can win unless he really just has nothing to do in terms of counter or anything, but again, like I said, I'm kind of chilling here, so we're not really in danger of like dying or anything. Alright, and then one more 8k swing with Robin. He managed to get out of that one, and then so I pass back to him. So it's not over, but it's looking pretty close. I think I got him on the ropes here. He actually did have another Whitebeard still, so that's kind of annoying, but I think just based off of the swings and everything that I have on board, I think I got him next turn. Alright, so 8k swing with Yamato. I just decided to take at this point. No reason not to. Okay, and then he comes at me for 9k with Ace, and I make one of the sim-only mistakes you can make with Nami. I end up pitching Slave Arrow for leader ability. I meant to just use it full on and then get the pudding back to my hand just to putting him on the next turn just because, you know, style points and everything, but I think Batsu and the world told me, hey, you gotta chill out with that stuff, so good for keeping me humble and stuff, you know what I mean? Okay, so coming down to the wire, I have 2 Borsalinos in hand, so I could technically heal twice and establish 2 blockers, but part of me is playing around Roger. I see he has 1 in trash, but I mean, most ace decks run 2 as far as I know, so I think I just end up deciding to throw a 10 at him, see what he decides to do with that. If he blocks with Whitebeard, I'm just going all in, but he actually had Rad Beam, which you don't see that very often, I don't think, but I mean, it's not surprising either. So he ends up getting out of that. And then part of me thinks about just kind of pushing him down even further with a bigger swing with Robin. But again, I think I can probably just afford to Borsalino if he somehow gets out of my Robin swing and then try to win one more turn after. He's like no cards in hand anymore anyway, so I am really, really in a good spot. Alright, and then I poke 6 with Nami, and I'm pretty much just planning on playing out the Borsalino. Oh, okay, never mind. He gives up because he's afraid. I get it. He probably had to, like, top deck, like, a Roger or something. After this, though, I realized I could just stack all the Dawn onto Pudding instead, and then just really make him feel the pain of Pudding twice in a game, but, you know, we'll never know what ends up happening or anything. Good game to my opponent, though. I feel like it was just hard to keep up with my board, just putting things on and then kind of setting his stuff back. So he was always kind of on the defensive, I think, after that Pudding. And then between healing and stuff, I think it was just hard for him to keep up. So yeah, this matchup feels a lot more doable than it used to in EPO4, so it's pretty nice.
When the world's out, looking like a pela bitch, have I roll? That one ain't clipping.